Okay, boys and girls, we're going to start our lesson today with a review of double-digit subtraction without regrouping. So remember, when we subtract, we start with the whole. In this problem, it's 34, and we're subtracting minus 12 equals blank. So when we begin working, we always begin in the ones column every time. So if we look in the ones column, we see 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2. Let's take a look at our model. We have 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. In the ones column, we're doing 4 minus 2. That means we're taking 2 away. 1, 2. So 4 minus 2, we have 2 left. 4 minus 2 equals 2. Then we can jump over to our tens column and we can do 3 minus 1. If we look at our model, here we have 3 tens minus 1 10. We're left with 2 tens. 3 minus 1 equals 2. So 34 minus 12 equals 22. Okay? We can do that kind of subtraction without any regrouping because the number at the top of our ones column, the 4, is greater than the 2 that we're taking away from it. If we change our problem, 34 minus, this time we're going to do 18. So I'm going to reset my model over here. So I've got 34. 3 tens, 4 ones. If I try to take 8 away from my 4 ones, let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh, I don't have any more to take away from there. There are not enough ones here. 4 ones is not enough to take away 8 of them. So what we have to do, we're going to think of our columns here like they're little homes. Okay? So I'm going to put a dividing line between my tens and my ones. Okay? So when I'm subtracting in the ones column and I see a 4 minus 8, we're going to call this right here, we're going to call that the floor of the problem. So if the number on the floor is greater than the number that's upstairs in the house, that means we have to ask our neighbor. We need to knock, knock, knock on our neighbor's door and ask if we can have 10 more. And our neighbor is always going to say yes. So let's see what that looks like. If we knock on our neighbor's door and we ask to borrow a 10, we ask for 10 more. Let's take a look at what that looks like over here on our model. So here are 4 ones. We need to take 8 away, but we don't have enough. So we need to, say it with me, knock, knock, knock on our neighbor's door and ask if we can have 10 more. And our neighbor says, of course. Boom, he gives us a 10. So let's take a look now and see what our problem looks like. Now in our problem we have 2 tens and we have a 10 and 4 ones. That makes 14 ones in this column. Except we can't keep this. We're going to, bam, we're going to trade it for 10 ones cubes. Okay, so we're going to come back over to our problem here. We knock, knock, knock on our neighbor's door and asked if we can have 10 more. Our 3 tens said, sure, you can borrow 1 from us. So it gave us a 10, so now it becomes 2 tens. And we gave a 10, we added a 10 to our 4 ones, so 1 10 and 4 ones makes 14. Okay, now we can subtract because the number on the floor is less than the number that's upstairs. So now we have 14 minus 8. Let's pop over to our model. And now let's take 8 away. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many ones are we left with, boys and girls? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 ones. So 14 minus 8 equals 6. Now let's take a look in our tens column. We're left now with 2 tens because we borrowed 1 to put over in the ones column. 2 tens minus 1 10. 2 minus 1 equals, you guessed it, 16 is correct. Okay, so we can check our work over here. We had our 2 tens, we took 1 away. We're left with 1 10 and 6 ones for 16. Great job. Okay, boys and girls, let's take a look at another problem. Here we are starting with 23 as our whole number and taking away minus 7. So 23 minus 7 equals blank. So let's start in our ones column, and the first thing we want to look at is 3 minus 7. Remember, if the number on the floor is greater than the number that's upstairs, we have to go next door and borrow 10 more. So we have a 3 up top and we have a 7 down at the bottom. Are we going to have to regroup? Do we need to borrow a 10 from the tens column to add on to our 3? If you're not sure, let's take a look at the model. Okay, here we have 3 ones. Let's try to subtract 7 from those 3 ones. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't have any more to grab. So we certainly do need to borrow from our neighbor. So say our little poem with me. Ready? We need to knock, knock, knock on our neighbor's door and ask if we can have 10 more. And our neighbor always says, yes. And we have our 10 here that we are going to trade in, bam, for 10 ones. Okay, so let's write down what we just did. We had 23. We knew we could not take 7 away from the 3 in the ones column, so we needed to ask our neighbor for 10 more. So we took 1 10 away. That makes 1 10 left in the tens column, and we added that 1 10 to our 3 ones. So 1 10 and 3 ones equals 13. Okay, so now we have 13 minus 7. Let's go over to our model and let's subtract. Ready? Let's take away 7. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. So 13 minus 7 equals 6. And now we have 1 minus, there's nothing here in the tens column, so that stands for 0. 1 minus 0 equals 1. Great job, boys and girls. Let's try another one. All right, boys and girls, our next problem, I want you to have a piece of paper and pencil ready. You're going to do this with me. So I want you to very neatly write down 51 minus, make sure it's over to the left and make sure you write it small, minus, and right underneath your 5, write a 2, And right underneath your 1, in your ones column, write a 9. And then your equal sign straight underneath 51 minus 29. So if we're looking at our model, we can see we're starting with our whole number 51. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, plus one more, 51. Okay, so we're starting in our ones column. We're going to subtract 1 minus 9. Remember, look at the number that's upstairs. Compare it to the number that's on the floor. Remember, this number is the number that's on the floor. If the number on the floor is greater than the upstairs number, we have to knock on our neighbor's door and ask for 10 more. What do you think we need to do here? Do we need to regroup? Do we need to ask our neighbor in the tens column to borrow a 10? If you decided yes, you are correct. Great job. Okay, so let's go ahead and knock, knock, knock on our neighbor's door and ask if we can have 10 more. And our neighbor always says yes. He gives us a 10. And let's, bam, switch that 10 to 10 ones. So now here in our ones column, we have 10 plus the 1. That makes 11. And over here in our tens column, since we took one of our original tens away to give to the ones column, now we have 4 tens left. So let's mark that on our problem. We took a 10 from here, making the 5 into now 4 tens. And our 1, we added a 10 to it, so that becomes 11. So now we can go ahead and work our problem out. We have 11 minus 9. 11 minus 9. Let's come to our model and let's subtract 9. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 11 minus 9 equals, we can see here we have 1, 2 left. 11 minus 9 equals 2. And now let's look at our tens. We have 4 tens minus 2 tens. We look at our model. Let's take 2 tens away. 1, 2. We're left with 2 tens. So 4 minus 2 equals 2. So the answer to our original problem, 51 minus 29 equals 22. Great job. Okay, boys and girls, this one you're going to try on your own. You're starting with 46 minus 19. Write that down neatly. Remember, you're lining your numbers up. Tens in the tens column, ones in the ones column, right underneath each other, nice and neat. Take a look, starting always in your ones column. Problem in the ones column, 6 minus 9. Look at the floor. If the number on the floor is more than the number that's upstairs, we have to knock, knock, knock on our neighbor's door and ask if we can have 10 more. Go ahead and do that part of the problem. So when we knock on our neighbor's door, we do need to. The 9 is definitely greater than the 6. We need to knock on our neighbor's door and ask for 10 more. It looks like this. 4, we're giving a 10 to the ones column. That 4 becomes a 3, 3 tens. And we're adding 10 and 6. 10 and 6 is 16. Then you can subtract 16 minus 9. Did you get 7? Great job. And then we can subtract in our tens column 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 equals 2. So 46 minus 19 equals 27. You did a wonderful job today, boys and girls. Keep up the great work. See you tomorrow.